Lesson 5.5 is on congruence, and the picture below is of two DNA profiles of two pairs of twins. We have twin A and B, and they're identical twins, and C and D are fraternal twins. So the Broussard sisters are identical twins, and the McKinney sisters are fraternal twins. Even though they're the same gender, they do not share the matching bands of DNA. If you look at twin A and B right here, you can see that all of these little lines correspond to each other. They line up. But C and D, they have some, but not all of them. So correspondence is a way of matching up two sets of objects. And again, the bands in the DNA that are next to each other in each pair match up or correspond. We have the DNA of the identical twins, the corresponding bands are the same. Congruent figures have the same exact shape and the same exact size. If two polygons are congruent, all of their corresponding sides and angles are congruent. You have to understand, though, that corresponding in this sense is not the same as corresponding with parallel lines. Corresponding here means they are in the same position on the polygon. So let's go ahead and look at this with some polygons. Here with our diagram we have triangle ABC and triangle DEF. They've been kind enough to color code this so that you can see which vertices line up. So in our statement we write triangle ABC is congruent to triangle, and A goes with D, so we go D, B goes with E, and C goes with F. And it is important that you write them in corresponding order. So when we look at the corresponding angles, angle A is congruent to angle D because they correspond. Angle B is congruent to angle E, and angle C is congruent to angle F. And now we look at the corresponding sides. AB is congruent, and we have AB, so DE. And then I go BC is congruent to, over here, EF. And finally I have AC is congruent to DF. So you have 6 pairs of congruencies with congruent triangles. So here they're asking us to write a congruent statement for each pair of congruent polygons. Well, here we have triangle, and I'm just going to write it in the order, alphabetical order. So KLM. And I have to see now, I don't know necessarily if they're going to put this in alphabetical order. So the K is the 94 degrees. Over here, R is 94 degrees. L is 21 degrees. Over here, it's Q is 21 degrees. M is 65 degrees, and S is 65 degrees. So they are not putting this one in alphabetical order. If you look over here at the helpful hint, I have talked about this a little bit before. Marks on the sides of a figure can be used to show congruence. So we have KM and RS, they each have 1 mark, and it shows that they are congruent. KL and RQ have 2 marks, and ML and SQ have 3 marks. Okay, write a congruent statement for each pair of congruent polygons. So first of all, this is a quadrilateral, so we don't have a little symbol that we use for quadrilateral. And again, with the first one, I just go alphabetical. So I'm going to go, as long as it's, let's say they have to be connected. If it was B and then D down here, I wouldn't go alphabetical, but they are in consecutive order here. So B, D, L, K is congruent to. Now B is 100 degrees, so J is 100 degrees. And D is 88 degrees, so I'm going to have to go H. And I have to also double check, do BD and JH have the same measure for their sides? BD is 15, JH is 15, so it does work. And L is 85 degrees, and so is R. And we have K is 87 degrees, and so is F. So quadrilateral BDLK in that order is congruent to quadrilateral JHRF. Let's try this one down here. We also have quadrilaterals. Specifically, what type are these? They are trapezoids. So I'm going to go B, J, L, T. And B is 108, so is K. J is 72, and so is D. L is 72, and so is Y. So you have to be careful that you're putting them in the right order, since there's two 108s and two 72s. So B, J, L, T. What I have to do is I have to check. Well, B, J, K, D. Yep, those are both 8. Well, they're both 8 here too, but you have to be able to connect them consecutively. So T is 108, and we haven't used F, and F is 108. All right, now we're going to use this information of knowing that the quadrilaterals are congruent to find some missing sides. So it says quadrilateral PQSR is congruent to quadrilateral WTUV. And first they want us to find X. Well, that's side RP, and I know that RP is congruent to VW. So knowing that information, I can go X plus 5 equals VW is 12. And now I simply subtract 5 from both sides. So X equals 7. We're not saying this side is 7, we're saying the X is 7. So we know the side is actually 12. And now they want us to find Z, which is right here. So angle V is congruent to angle R. And we know that angle R up here is 132. So we can go 11Z equals 132. And we'll divide by 11. Oops. And so the Z equals, I believe that's 12. But I should double check myself. So 132 divided by 11 is 12. So the Z is 12. We don't say it's 12 degrees because it's just the variable Z. All right, here is your lesson if you want to get started. It's lesson 5.5. This is page 224 to 225, 1 through 14, and 19 through 21.